Good morning, Acme Widget employees. My name is Kevin Dudley. I am the Director of HR here at Acme Widget. Today we are going to discuss how you can manage stress to help improve your happiness and effectiveness at work, home, and throughout every aspect of your life. Before you came in this morning, we had y'all watch two short videos, two very different approaches to dealing with stress. The first by Brendan Burchard, titled How to Be Happier, and the second by Dr. Sonia Lubomirski, titled The Science of Happiness. Two very different approaches, so I wanted to take a closer look at each of these approaches and evaluate each one based on its own merit. The first video we had you watch from Brendan Burchard, now he has appeared on shows like Oprah Winfrey, Larry King. His books have been featured in Success Magazine, hit the New York Times bestseller list, also featured in USA Today, the Wall Street Journal, and more. In Brendan Burchard's video, you will recall that he had the approach of positive thinking, sort of an eternal optimism. He specifically stated in his video that we all tend to look fondly at the past, even if there were some hardships, and we all look expectantly into the future, but real happiness, according to Brendan, is most likely achieved when we are truly engaged in the present. In Burchard's approach, there are four key areas to focus on in order to be happy. First, there is our emotional health. And that is where this whole be present and engaged idea really takes shape. To focus on challenging ourselves, on making even a little advancement every day, he believes will lead us to increasing happiness. The second thing that he says we need to focus on is in regards to our physical. We need to make sure we're getting enough sleep. We need to make sure we're eating a healthy diet, getting exercise, etc., etc. And his third step is in regards to our relationships. He says that we must always consider what our part is in any relational issues we may encounter. Are we making our partner feel appreciated and respected? We need to be consistently focused on building our partner up. And his fourth and final area that he says we need to focus on is our spiritual. To have something bigger than ourselves to believe in, to find awe and wonder in the universe, to give honor to the object of our faith. So, according to Burchard, collectively, these four areas, the emotional, physical, relational, and spiritual, are the key areas we need to focus on to truly achieve happiness. So basically, it is a think your way towards stress reduction. It's very motivational, it's very positive and uplifting, very much self-oriented, and uses visualization techniques. He uses phrases like, we have all, or it's common sense, we all know, or it's obvious that. Contrast that to Dr. Sonia Lubomirski. Now, she's a professor at UC Riverside, AB from Harvard, PhD from Stanford. Her books have been translated into 19 different languages, and she has appeared on TV, radio, and multiple documentaries. In Dr. Lubomirski's video, she created a specific experiment using her students at UC Riverside. The experiment simply asked the students to do 5 acts of kindness per week for a period of 6 weeks. The experiment was set up for the 3 specific groups of students, which were a control group who were asked to do nothing different than they normally do, a group who spread their 5 acts of kindness over the entire week, and a group who did all 5 of their acts of kindness in 1 day per week. Now, looking at our results, we find that the control group, the ones who were asked to do nothing, actually self-reported that they felt like they were doing even less than they normally do. The group that was asked to do their 5 acts of kindness, over the course of the week, said they felt like they really weren't doing much more either. However, the group that was asked to do them all in 1 day actually felt like they were helping out a lot. So very interesting, especially when you consider 5 acts of kindness spread out over the week versus all done in 1 day. A very different feeling. And the final results actually indicated that. In her final results, she noted that the only group that actually stated that they felt happier were the group that had actually done all of their acts of kindness in 1 day. They felt like they were giving people a lot of help, and it increased their own happiness. Dr. Lubomirski actually contends that this is likely due to the fact that doing them all in 1 day made those participants feel more impactful, while those who did nothing or spread them out during the week felt like they really weren't doing a whole lot. Dr. Lubomirski also states that her findings clearly attest to the important role of motivation, effort, commitment, and fit in increasing happiness. So what we're looking at here is acts of kindness towards other people. And Dr. Lubomirski, as opposed to Brendan Bouchard, actually uses phrases like research has shown, or results indicate, or what we find is. Everything is very much research focused. There is legitimate analysis using test subjects and reviewing those findings. So two very different, but are they equal? And the answer is, if we look at Bouchard, no results or tests are cited. It assumes equal access and experiences to the people that he's speaking to. Non-verifiable, non-duplicable, does not address cause and effect. Emotion-based, not science-based. If you visualize yourself winning the lottery and you go out tomorrow and win the lottery, is there any way for us to validate that you won it because you were thinking positive? And obviously not. If so, I mean, the next guy would just think he was going to win it and he'd win as well. So some real challenges there. Versus Dr. Lubomirski, who cites specific results, scientifically researched and measured, multiple test subjects used. She states specific actions that were used, and probably most important, all of her results are verifiable and duplicable. So I wanted to share a couple of quick stories from my own life. As many of you know, I lost my mother a few years ago to cancer. Since she was divorced and my older brother lives in another state, I was left to handle everything from making service arrangements to settling her accounts. I even took over as executor of her estate. I battled for months trying to muddle my way through and figure everything out, and after a couple months of just nonstop letters and phone calls and faxes and emails, I actually found myself in a position where I was unable to secure the title for a mobile home that she owned. As the stress increased, my fight or flight mode kicked in, and I eventually just ran away from the problem, having gave up hope of even getting the title, and I was just too stressed to care. I sold the trailer as is, title pending, including all of the contents, all the furniture, everything inside, sold it all to a neighbor for $1,000. I just wanted to get it out of my hair, even though I knew the current market value was 20 times that amount. When I did eventually get the title, I realized that I had let the hassle and the stress of that situation cost me over $20,000 in my inheritance, just to be free of the stress. I just ran away. Now, upon that realization, I was faced with a whole new stress that I let $20,000 slip away. But obviously, running away, throwing in the towel, and taking the easy way out, not a very successful way to deal with stress. On the flip side, just a few months ago, my father passed away, also from cancer. This time, however, I've been able to help his widow, my stepmother, as she adjusts to her new normal, her new life without him. I've also gotten involved with volunteering and raising money for different cancer charities, and last month I actually shaved my head for a local children's cancer charity. I still miss my dad a lot, but by applying Dr. Lubomirski's approach and helping others, I actually find that I'm able to deal with the stress. I don't feel the weight of my father's passing in quite the same way. So very, very different. What if we don't deal with the stress at all? I've showed you where I was successful, where I was unsuccessful in dealing with stress. Many of you know Amanda and Bryant Eubanks and their daughter, Emma. Amanda was working at home. She actually works in HR here, but she was working from home after the baby was born. She already had a 5-year-old at home, and so now having a newborn, she needed to be home. We were able to help her out with that. However, there was a lot of stress. Obviously being a new mother, not getting a lot of sleep, still has a 5-year-old to take care of, trying to take care of a home, trying to do her job as she works from home. A lot of stress. She was actually on the phone with her manager here, and she was talking about the possibility of maybe coming in 1 or 2 days a week to work from the office, and I think part of it was to kind of just get out of the home a little bit. However, during that phone call, she glanced up at the phone and she suddenly realized she had 10 minutes to pick her son up from school. So she hung up the phone, grabbed the baby, threw the baby in the car seat, jumped into the car, took off racing to the school, and as many of you know, she wound up slamming into the back of one of the school buses. Now, thankfully, she was okay. The baby was okay. No one was injured. But again, stressed out mother, not getting a lot of sleep, behind the wheel of a car. These are the types of things that we don't think about when we think about the stress in our lives, and I want us all to really start considering that. So the question we have to ask is what works, what doesn't, and specifically, what are the main stressors here at Acme Widget? So as many of you know, we sent out an employee survey a couple months ago, and here are the results for the top 3 stressors indicated by you here at Acme. What we find is deadlines and schedules. 67% of the employees stated that they felt stressed from deadlines and schedules. Right underneath that at 66%, financial concerns, and then down at 56%, relationships. When you have a lot of stress related to time management, you're going to start noticing some things. Here are some of the indicators, and ask yourself if any of these seem familiar to you. Headaches, body aches, blurred vision, stomach issues, loss of appetite. You may suddenly find yourself with an increased heart rate, especially as that deadline looms closer. You may suddenly find yourself with an inability to sleep, loss of concentration, easily angered, and unfortunately, very often this leads to the use of poor judgment. So, as we think about the number one stressor here, schedules and deadlines, we really need to find something that will help, something that has been researched, that has been tested, verified, and of course is effective. We're going to give you a specific application here today that can be applied to either work or home, will help you to track your successes, and has ongoing support. So the thing to remember is, most importantly, is you need to get your time organized. Now, yes, there are certain electronic calendars out there, and I'm a big proponent of these. Some of them that I've used myself in the past: Google, Outlook, Keep and Share. However, internally here, we have developed Acme Widget's My Schedule app. This app is very mobile friendly. It offers easy setup of notifications. It works on both iPhones and Android platforms. It is color-coded for ease of use, so one color for work, one color for home, one color for your spouse's schedule, for the kids. You can make sure every time you look at it, you know exactly what schedule you're looking at. Now, this is proprietary technology, so at this time we're going to turn off today's video, and we'd like everyone to go ahead, open up the app. We've already downloaded it to your company-issued phones. So go ahead and open that up, and we'll kind of walk through that together.